Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight at UCTV News. I'm Regan Schiappa.
And I'm Sarah Maddox.
Former Hartford Mayor Eddie Perez is expected to announce he will be running for mayor of Hartford. WFSB reports that Perez is expected to make an announcement officially on Thursday night at a fundraiser. Back in 2017, he did not face any prison time when he pled guilty to bribery and extortion charges for crimes committed during his time in office. Perez led the capital city from 2001 to 2010.
An April Fool's Day joke may have gone too far when some say the Daily Campus offended UConn's athletics department. The school newspaper printed a story Monday titled, "Softball or Lacrosse, which is worse?" The anonymous writers of the story made comments including, "No one can be as bad as the softball team," and that UConn athletics will soon have to pay people to come to the lacrosse games if they want any attendance at all. The Daily Campus writers also said that the women's lacrosse team sucks and makes absolutely no money for the school, and that not even the players' families are going to want to come out to watch the team lose every game. UConn athletics and coaches have spoken out against the comments, and the Daily Campus put out an apology in their Tuesday edition.
President Donald Trump is considering shutting down the southern border to prevent Central American migrants from coming into the U.S. CNN reports that Trump would likely run into serious legal pushback from Congress if he were to try to shut down the border. This would also cause trade problems and make it difficult for citizens with legal status in the U.S. to move around. White House officials anonymously said that the economic and diplomatic effects of closing the border could be catastrophic. Last week, the Trump administration proposed a federal budget cut of $17.6 million for Special Olympics. The proposal garnered intense criticism on social media, but it could be one of the best things to happen to the nonprofit. Politico said that the media outcry over the threat to Special Olympics funding has reinforced the message of the organization, and private donations are expected to surge.
UConn students continued their yearly tradition of celebrating Special Olympics at the 3rd annual Smile Mile at the Hugh S. Greer Fieldhouse. Here are the details from my co-anchor Regan Schiappa.
Whether walking, running, or wheeling, students are here today at the Fieldhouse to celebrate the 3rd annual Smile Mile, to spread the word, to end the word. Let's take a look.
The Smile Mile is an event run by the Connecticut Special Olympics Committee. This event was founded by Jeffany Pally 3 years ago, and her enthusiasm of this campaign has inspired many to pledge to end the use of the R word.
So 3 years ago, Jeffany Pally founded this event, had the idea for it. Unfortunately, it passed away, so our whole Special Olympics committee decided that it wasn't going to end there, carried it on in her legacy. Just a great event. Spread the word to end the word, end the derogatory use of the R word, and just in general.
Family, friends, and Special Olympics CT band together to continue the event in memory of Jeffany and create a fun atmosphere to celebrate the importance of inclusion.
Inclusion is really important on this campus, especially since there's 18,000 undergrads and around 30,000 undergrad and grad total, so it's always important to include those that may not seek inclusion themselves.
The expected attendance of this event was 150 people, but ended up being approximately double that. One of the main directors of the Special Olympics Committee here at UConn expects it to grow and continue to promote respectful and people-first language in future years.
I think our mission and our goal of spreading inclusion and to end the use of the R word has just grown tremendously in these 3 years, and looking forward, I think it's only going to grow even more.
For the past 3 years, Smile Mile has been putting smiles on so many people's faces and spreading the word of inclusion. With UCTV News, I'm Regan Schiappa.
Got a bin looking like Grey Goo. get better over time. They just say I'm not the baddest bitch you like.
Joe Biden has been in the spotlight recently, but not because of a 2020 election campaign. Biden has been accused of inappropriate touching and kissing during his time as vice president. Amy Lopos of Milford is the second woman to share an account of an uncomfortable interaction at a 2009 political fundraiser in Greenwich, when she served as an aide to Democratic Representative Jim Himes. Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that she does not think the allegations are disqualifying for a 2020 run, although the former vice president should be more aware of other personal space.
Chaos continues in the UK. British Prime Minister Theresa May said Monday that she will ask the EU for an extension to the Brexit deadline to break the logjam in Parliament. The BBC reports that the Prime Minister plans to meet with Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn to discuss the future relationship with the EU. The UK has until April 12th to propose a deal that is approved by the EU, or it will leave without a deal.
4 people were found dead Monday night, what police are calling a multiple homicide at a North Dakota property management business. The Associated Press said that the bodies of 3 men and women were discovered inside RJR Maintenance and Management in Mandan, a city just across the Missouri River. Police Chief Jason Ziegler said the crime scene is large and the investigation process will take time. Police have not yet identified a suspect or motive. When we come back, the latest on UConn sports. Stay tuned.
A 55-year-old man was struck and killed by a train in Guilford Tuesday afternoon. Rail lines on the Connecticut shoreline, namely Amtrak and Shoreline East, reported delays for hours following the incident. WFSB reports the train was a work train and there were no passengers on the train at the time.
Ariana Grande fans from Connecticut will see some familiar sights in the pop singer's newest music video, Monopoly. Mohegan Sun PR director Cody Chapman said the scenes were shot atop the Sky Tower at Mohegan Sun before Grande played at Mohegan Sun as part of her Sweetener World Tour. The video, which came out on Monday, already has almost 5 million views on YouTube.
Well, some things are worth celebrating, even though it's not the first, second, or even third time. Another victory for the UConn women's basketball team puts the Huskies back in the Final Four for the 12th consecutive time. The women Huskies are trying for their 12th championship. Let's take a look back at the triumph with Danny Barletta.
The last time the UConn women's basketball team lost was way back on January 31st when they fell to Louisville. The two teams would face off in a highly anticipated rematch on Sunday in Albany, but this time with much more on the line, a chance for a trip to the Final Four. Neither team scored on their first few possessions, but then everyone started getting involved for the Huskies. The first 4 UConn baskets were all made by different players. Louisville and UConn would trade big runs in the first quarter before the first half became the Megan Walker show. The sophomore couldn't miss, starting off 4 for 4 from beyond the arc to give the Huskies a much-needed early spark. The UConn defense held Asia Durr to just 3 points in the first half, but the rest of the Louisville team stepped up to give them a chance, down just 7. In the second half, Katie Lou Samuelson ensured that her UConn career wouldn't end on Sunday. After a tough game in the Sweet 16, in which she scored just 6 points, Samuelson stepped up in a huge way, knocking down 7 three-pointers, including 4 in the second half, in an incredible 29-point performance.
Yeah, I think the way the games were played were different too. I think, for us going into it, we approach our defense and everything the same way, but for me, I wanted to make a little bit more of an impact offensively and make sure that I was involved and Friday's game, we didn't necessarily need that from me, and I felt like today I did need to step up, so I did what I could to help win the game.
UConn held the lead throughout the half thanks to the big plays by Samuelson, as well as the rest of the team, namely Kristen Williams. But Louisville held around until the very end. They caused some turnovers and cut the UConn lead from 11 down to just 2 at one point. But the Huskies were able to hit their free throws, and a huge steal by Williams on the inbound pass sealed the game.
This entire season, I've struggled defensively, so that was a huge stop for me, or for the team, really. I saw it coming, and I stole the ball. It was just a big play at that time.
All 5 starters finished with double-digit points as UConn escaped with an 80-73 win. The Huskies are headed back to the Final Four for an astounding 12th consecutive year, where they will face the winner of the Stanford-Notre Dame game in Tampa, Florida. From the Times Union Center in Albany, New York, I'm Danny Barletta, UCTV Sports.
That's all for tonight. Don't forget to follow us on our social media at UCTV Channel 14 and check out our YouTube page for more.
We'll see you next week for another edition of UCTV News. Thank you and good night.